Go interactive with X-Ray, where we bring trading experts to you live in the platform. Choose sessions, watch live market analysis, and catch up on your favorite market insights anytime. Ask questions and go one-to-one with leading experts on gold, oil, FX, crypto, indices, and equities. X-Ray, your very own analysis team, right at your fingertips. That's higher trading from MarketsX.
What's happening, people? Good morning, America, and happy Friday, everyone. Happy Friday 13th. How are you guys doing? Join us every day at the European Markets Open and the US Markets Open on your favorite media channel. Get the latest news about the most traded financial assets. Learn what most forex brokers don't want you to know and get rewarded for it. You can find all the links in the description down below, guys. If you like what you see, like, share, subscribe, and support us in delivering more great content. Good morning, America. This show is proudly sponsored by our partners at Forexy and Markets.com. Join us this afternoon for an extraordinary talk about cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin with George Agathangelou, board member at Cyprus Blockchain Association, and stay up to date with the latest news in the Bitcoin industry. In a couple of minutes, coming soon. Now, let's have a look at the markets, guys. Let's see what happened today with the markets being Friday 13. And let's see how the markets reacted today. Now, there was little movement, to be honest, little movement on the markets today, and more bad news regarding the COVID-19 pandemic, with the US reporting 150,000 cases and setting a new negative record in COVID-19 infections. Europe as well doesn't get away any easier, guys, and some countries already announced that the lockdown measures might extend until January if the infections will continue. The FX markets also felt the pressure, and there was little movement today on the FX majors. Crude oil prices moved towards the downside after the European opening this morning, apparently targeting the 200 moving average, or on the 1 hour charts, the same 200 moving average that I keep showing you every day, guys. Gold futures gained $10 on the European trading session, and as we got closer to the US Open, it picked up momentum, testing the 200 moving average to the upside. The U.S. stock markets are seen opening sharply higher today, and the U.S. dollar index might look to the downside after the producer price index numbers came out below analyst prediction. Let's have a quick look at top 5 things to know in the markets today, guys, and then we welcome my special guest for today, and hopefully we will find out the latest news in the cryptocurrency markets. What do you say? All right. Now, top 5 things to know in the markets today, guys. Very, very easy. There we go. There we go. Virus restrictions, that's number 1 on the board, guys. Virus restrictions tightened after another new record high for infections in the United States. The number of new infections of COVID-19 in the US hit 150,000 for the first time as cities and states moved at various speeds to contain the latest wave of COVID. The mayor of Chicago urged people to stay at home as far as possible, while New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio warned that he would shut the city schools if the proportion of positive tests for the disease breached the 3% threshold. It's currently standing at 2.6% threshold, very, very close to that 3% that New York City Mayor said he will lock down the city He has to. In Europe, Europe doesn't get away any easier, guys. In Europe, Chancellor Angela Merkel warned that Germany's restrictions may have to stay in place through the Christmas and New Year season, and warned that the virus will keep health experts busy all winter. Germany and Italy are struggling to flatten their infection curves, while more progress has been seen in Spain, Belgium, and the Netherlands, which moved to restrict social gatherings earlier. Number 2 on the board, guys. China acknowledges Joe Biden as the new president of the United States, and the GOP starts to lean on Trump. China beat the Republican Party to congratulating Joe Biden on his election victory nearly a week after the country's the counting process all but confirmed the results of Tuesday's vote. The GOP unity on refusing to endorse the election result is, however, starting to crack. Ohio Governor Mike DeWine acknowledged Biden as president-elect on Thursday, while Montana Secretary of State Corey Stapleton urged President Donald Trump to step aside gracefully. Republican senators, all urged the administration to allow Biden more access to intelligence briefings, something that Trump has refused so far. Let's see what's going to happen. Donald Trump announced us, guys. He's not happy with the result. He's not looking to leave the White House just like that. So let's see what's going to happen. On Thursday, U.S. election officials, led by Department of Homeland Security, Cybersecurity, and Infrastructure Security Agency, issued a statement saying that the election was the most secure in U.S. history. It was co-signed by several state and local government election groups as well. Right. Hopefully that's the truth. And then Donald Trump has nothing to be worried about. Moving on, guys. Number 3 on the board. Stocks, American stocks set to open higher. U.S. stock markets are indicated to open higher today at the end of a topsy-turvy week in which the initial euphoria on finding an effective vaccine against COVID-19 has buckled under the weight of the bleak short-term outlook. By 6:45 a.m. Eastern Time, Dow Jones futures were up 245 points or 0.9%, while the S&P 500 futures contract and Nasdaq futures were both up 0.7%, reversing their losses from Thursday. There's more to that. Overnight, Chinese stocks had fallen after a Trump administration issued a new blacklist of companies deemed to be facilitating the Chinese military. U.S. entities will be banned from investing in the companies as well. Wow, what a statement is Donald Trump making just before he's leaving the White House. European markets today were mixed, guys, supported by confidence in more stimulus from the European Central Bank, but held back by growing doubt over the ratification of the 750 billion euros, or $885 billion EU recovery fund. With no U.S. earnings of note today, the market may pay more heed to the U.S. PPI numbers that already were announced, and they came out in the red, guys. They came out negative. Now, number 4 on the board, Disney's positive surprise. Probably the only positive news we have today, this Friday 13th. Walt Disney stock will be in focus later after the entertainment giant beat expectations for its last quarter, thanks to stronger than expected performance by both its ABC network and, more importantly, its Disney Plus streaming service. The company posted its second straight quarterly loss, weighted down as expected by lower box office receipts, capacity restrictions at its theme parks, and cancellations at its cruise lines. However, the number of Disney Plus subscribers rose another 13.7 million between August and October 3rd, the company said. Disney stock, which hit its first post-pandemic high after Pfizer's announcement about its vaccine on Monday, rose 4.3% in pre-market trading. Have a look at Disney, guys. Very, very interesting to keep an eye on. Maybe it's going to go through the roof. Who knows? And last but not the least, guys, 1 minute away before the U.S. markets open, oil falls as supply-demand balance wobbles. Crude oil prices weakened as expectations of reduced mobility in the U.S. and Europe, coupled with news of further increases in output from Libya, threatening the fragile balance of supply and demand. Right, about 16 seconds away from the U.S. markets open, guys. We're going to ring the bell together, and then we invite my guest for today to join us via Skype for an amazing conversation on blockchain, cryptocurrencies, and Bitcoin. 4, 3, 2, 1. There we go, guys. Welcome to the US trading session, everyone. This was it. Right. Let's give Bloomberg a break. There you go, guys. We can see on Bloomberg positive opening at the US opening today. We're going to come back in a few minutes with the charts and with some signals of the day. But first, let's come back with my guest for today, guys. George Agathangelou, coming back live in 30 seconds.
Discover how some of the top executives are trading their own companies with our Insider Trades tool. See who's been buying or selling stock and what their trades say about insider sentiment. Use this unique big data tool to make more informed stock trades. That's higher trading from MarketsX.
All right, guys, and we are back with George Agathangelou. Bear with me for a second. Let me bring you on the big screen. There we go. George Agathangelou, guys. How are you, George?
Hi, Andrew. Doing good, man. How are you?
Good, good, good. Long time no see. Right, guys, as promised, my special guest today, the economist, the trader, the expert in blockchain and cryptocurrencies from Cyprus Blockchain Association, George Agathangelou, everyone. Good afternoon, George.
Good afternoon, Andrew. Happy to be here. Thank you for the invitation.
Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. Now, tell me, how are you? It's been a while. What have you been doing since we last spoke, George?
Well, I've been going through a lot of phases, let's say, or changes, but I'm full-time in cryptocurrency. Right now, I'm together with the University of Nicosia. I'm working at block.co as a chief marketing officer. And what we do, we basically eliminate any kind of digital document fraud by using blockchain technology and the Bitcoin blockchain, actually.
Wow. Right. I'll get to that in a minute. Tell us, first of all, what is Cyprus Blockchain Association and what does it do?
Well, the Cyprus Blockchain Association is the association of the regional stakeholders here in Cyprus, whether they are individuals, whether they are companies, organizations, that would like to have some support when it comes to their operations, some advice maybe. And we also connect them to a vast network of other associations. We have collaborations right now with 20 different associations globally. Wow. So we can also connect, so we can connect these people that are interested into this vast network and be able to collaborate into creating and building this whole ecosystem based on blockchain technology.
Right. And are you guys making profits on this or no?
Well, we are a non-for-profit, actually. Wow. It's a non-for-profit organization. Everything that we do is done on a pro bono basis. We do it out of love for the industry, for the technology, and we aspire to help into the adoption of these new technologies and also bring a lot of benefits from this technology to the society.
Wow, okay. So you're not actually, your guys are pro bono, yeah? So what is
the association? Everything that we do is free of charge. We do it out of pure love for what we do for the industry.
Okay, and that's the Cyprus Association, yeah? What does block.co do? Can you tell me more about it? What is the connection to Bitcoin?
As I mentioned before, block.co is a company that spin out of University of Nicosia. Back in 2014, the university, they had a need for a solution in order to safeguard their digital certificates. So all the graduates since 2015 of the University of Nicosia actually receive a digital document that is anchored on the Bitcoin blockchain. And from then on, this document is self-contained and self-verifiable in its nature, meaning that they can send that PDF to anyone in the world, and they can instantly verify whether that document is authentic or not by just checking on the blockchain. So you don't need any intermediaries in order to verify information. You have information that is actually secured by the most secure computer network in the world. So in this way, we are completely eliminating fraud, and we are helping shape a new world, let's say, that is without fraud. This is our main vision, and of course to expand this technology to any other industry. whether it's shipping, whether it's the companies register, whether it's the government.
Elections.
So, elections, yes, that's a good use case for blockchain, of course. So yes, we aspire that with the technology, we can help society.
Well done, very well done. Now, I don't know if you know, I know what the certificate looks like. I graduated from the University of Nicosia, and I got the certificate in cryptocurrencies and blockchain as well.
Excellent. Excellent.
That was a couple of years ago. It was the first trial, I think, that they did. I was one of the first people to get it. Now, George, I know you're very experienced in the field. We need your help today to understand what on earth is going on with the Bitcoin. For the last 10 days or so, I think the entire world is asking the same. Two questions. One, why didn't I buy Bitcoin? And two, where is the Bitcoin going next and why? Are you ready?
It's quite strange what's happening. It's very exciting. I'm actually in a very good mood in the last 2 weeks because of I wake up and I see all these.
I know you have some Bitcoin, that's why.
But I don't know. I don't know the answer to the question, why didn't you buy earlier? I mean, we could see the trends around Bitcoin. You can see right now that 98% of people holding Bitcoin are in profit right now.
Yeah.
And we also need to treat everything with a lot of caution, because Bitcoin has not been at these levels for a very long period of its lifetime.
Yep.
So it's a very big question mark as to where do we go from here. Do we see a correction soon, or are we gonna go up to all-time highs before we see a correction? So people just need to be very cautious and not to rush into any decisions. My best advice for people that are looking into cryptocurrencies is to invest first in education. Learn what it is, what it does, what is its purpose, how the markets move, and from then on, you will be much more equipped to make the right decision at the right time.
Perfect. Now, getting back to Bitcoin, looking at the charts, we can see the Bitcoin started its rally on the 13th of March. Funny enough, that's why I decided to have the meeting with you today, Friday 13th, because on the 13th of March this year, funny enough, it started going up and it did not stop since. And yesterday, Bitcoin surprised everyone by breaking the $16,000 mark and apparently heading towards the pre-all-time high, which it had at 17,000. I have a theory that I keep saying.
Time highs, allow me to correct you, it wasn't only 17,000. I mean, at some point, we reached almost 20K on some exchanges back in 2017. So,
yes. I was talking about the pre-all-time high. Now,
pre-all-time.
Yes.
My apologies.
No problem. Now, I have a theory that I keep saying. Is Bitcoin becoming, or has it become, a safe haven asset?
Well, that's a very good question. It depends how. I would say that people that are being a long time into this sphere, they understand. That's a very long discussion. But what we can say is that every asset, it goes through a transitional phase. I mean, especially around technology. And in this phase, maybe Bitcoin is now considered to be even better than gold. My personal opinion is that it is better than gold. But however, as I said, people need to start with education, because although it might be something that is even better than gold, if you don't have the responsibility and the understanding of how to safeguard your digital assets, then it doesn't make a lot of sense. So if you are not responsible enough to be able to keep that value, you will lose it, if you know what I mean.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, because even I lost a few Bitcoins back in the day when I was just learning. I forgot it there or here, some passwords, small amounts that is. But again, I believe that it's best to start with education. As far as being a safe haven, the way things are right now, yes. And not only that, we can see that Bitcoin might even bring a new financial paradigm. This is where we're going. We're going into the age of hyper-Bitcoinization, in my opinion, always. This is not a financial advice. Please do your own research. And there are quite a few things that are, taking us towards that direction. Let's take only, for example, the institutional interest that we have around Bitcoin these days. Let's also look at what governments are doing when they are discussing a central bank digital currency that will be based on blockchain technology as well. Let's also see the trends around privacy coins, because we can see that these privacy coins are slowly going to be delisted from various exchanges. And also, let's look at the other trends from FATF, for example, when it comes to the travel rule and all the requirements from exchanges for anti-money laundering procedures and counter-terrorist financing. So another point that we need to take into consideration is how these assets can also be used to avoid sanctions. Early last month, we saw that Iran has proceeded to buy Bitcoin directly from miners within the country, and they're actually using Bitcoin in order to import stuff and avoid the US sanctions. So where are we going from here? You can see there is a huge turmoil all around the world around these assets, and especially when the prices go up so soon, it makes people look that way. And I'm getting calls lately from a lot of people that never used to have any interest whatsoever about cryptocurrencies, and now
they all want it.
Yeah. Well, this scares me actually, because whenever you have all these newbies jumping into the hype, sometimes you see the market correcting very fast.
And that's why we're here, to try and help people understand how these work. Talking about correction, now probably there is expected on the Bitcoin. I'll have a look at the charts in a few minutes, and I'll do a bit of analysis. But what do you think led to this incredible rally that we saw on Bitcoin recently? What was the catalyst? PayPal accepting crypto payments?
Well, that is part of the equation. I would say that yes, PayPal had a big impact on it. I would say that MicroStrategy's move, also the Jack Dorsey's company Square, they have a lot of institutional interest. We have on the other side other companies that are buying off all the Bitcoin that is mined currently. Huge organizations. We have other companies that are looking into building exchange traded funds with Bitcoin. And I would say that the most important, let's say, catalyst is uncertainty.
Yeah.
When you have uncertainty globally, you see Bitcoin rising as an effect.
That's why I think it became a safe haven asset, George. It looks like a safe haven asset. It behaves like a safe haven asset. And every time the conventional asset classes, let's say, as you mentioned a minute ago, go into turmoil, Bitcoin is rising, man.
Yeah. Well, there is a lot of factors. I mean, let's take on one hand all the quantitative easing taking place all around the world. So central banks are printing money. That is also one of the reasons why we see the stock market rallying as well in the last years. But when you add an explosive ingredient like the uncertainty of the US elections, I think that this was a catalyst that might partially explain why we have seen this rally in Bitcoin.
And on top of that, we had the PayPal announcement, and there you go.
That was before. That helped it, go to levels around, 13,000. But right now, Bitcoin is trading close to 17,000. That's another 4,000 up.
Now, there was an issue in the last couple of years about regulation, about how mass adoption works. How is the regulation looking like recently in the crypto area? We are seeing mass adoption worldwide.
Yes. Well, we are seeing mass adoption worldwide. We are seeing also some states in the United States that, they are considering, they're looking more into how they can use these digital assets, how they can accept them, how they can tax them, of course. And we see a global trend that although they're trying to accept it in a way, they're also trying not to create any systemic risks to the current system. So they're also trying to put various guidelines when it comes to money laundering and knowing your client. And all of this, it needs to have an international cooperation in some ways when it comes specifically to standards and guidelines to, let's say, clean the industry from bad players.
Are there any recent, sorry to cut you off, are there any recent news, recent regulations, anything we should know about in the crypto area?
Well, I would just suggest, I mean, I don't know where to start with. You will see regulation coming on a daily basis from different parts of the world. I mean, today I was just reading about Russia trying to regulate crypto assets. The other day we saw Wyoming is also a good case where they're accepting Bitcoin again for uses in the public sector. So it's a thing that comes on a daily basis. So I believe that also Cyprus will see regulation very shortly. There's been lots of discussions around this area. So I'm not sure whether we're going to see a regulation that will regulate crypto assets. However, a regulation that will regulate the use of blockchain technology, it's a great possibility, yes. So we will most likely see blockchain technology being accepted in Cyprus also by the public register, by the Cyprus government, and also we will have blockchain proof as evidence in courts. So
wow. Hold on, say that again. Say that again, because that's a first, man.
Well, when it comes to cryptocurrencies, again, it goes against the current status quo. So it's not really rational for a central bank to accept it in a way. But my feeling is that they will not be able to do otherwise. The Bitcoin standard is coming, in my opinion, always, and it's not going to be soon that we will see it, but maybe in the next 5 years, you will see a lot of changes to the way we treat money and in the way we think about money, especially in times where inflation might reach very high levels. That is when the troubles start. And of course, let's not forget that in the history of money, there has not been a single fiat currency that has survived.
Right. Now, very interesting, very, very interesting. Now, we are limited to below an hour, to about 45 minutes, so I'm going to rush the conversation a bit. Ethereum, yeah, because it's not only about Bitcoin, it's the entire cryptocurrency sector that saw a massive boost recently. Ethereum had a very similar trajectory with the Bitcoin, starting the rally almost in the same time, at some point in March this year, and currently trading at $461. Versus the $92, which was the price in March this year. Wow, what a performance. Over 400% growth in only a few months. What else is doing well, George? What other coins have great potential and hopefully a bit cheaper than Bitcoin, as not everyone can afford Bitcoin?
Well, not everyone can afford Bitcoin, that is for sure, but you also need to take into consideration that one Bitcoin can be divided by 100 million times.
I know.
Yeah, so essentially, even if I want to buy 1 cent worth of Bitcoin, theoretically, yes, I can do it. Doesn't make sense though because of the transaction fees.
Exactly.
Talking about Ethereum, it also serves its purpose. Ethereum is programmable money. On the other hand, Bitcoin is a store of value that is its primary use at the moment. We hope to see it to be used like currency in the future, but right now that is quite limited. When it comes to programmable money and Ethereum, we see a new world of opportunities coming about. We have applications that are decentralizing finance, and we can see maybe lending, borrowing, investing, prediction markets, and a new whole decentralized financial sphere opening up to opportunities.
What other coins are doing well? Sorry, what other coins? Do you have any other coins? How is Cardano doing? Monero? What do we have? The big boys.
Well, from the big boys, it all depends. If you want to really speculate into these coins, you need to take into consideration a lot of factors. So when it comes to low prices or high prices of tokens, why don't you have a look at the total circulating supply? See how big is that market? See how active are their users? You need to also look into the consensus mechanism and understand how these coins are working. What is the difference from Bitcoin, for example. So
Yeah, what's the purpose?
there
What's
is
the
not a right
functionality?
answer. Maybe the most right answer to the question, let's say, what is the next Bitcoin? The answer is Bitcoin.
Okay, I didn't ask you what's the next Bitcoin because I know no one can replace and nothing can replace
No one
Bitcoin.
can replace it, yeah.
Let's say,
as far as other coins are concerned, I would say I'm a fan of a few. I can say that I like Monero because it ensures privacy. I like, of course, Ethereum. I also hold some Ethereum. And Litecoin as well, I think is a good type of currency in a way because it's cheap. Um, from then on, it all depends you go into the interoperability space. So you might have Polkadot or Cosmos. You might also look into the Oracle space where you have Chainlink. Commod is also a project that I like. From then on, I suggest to your audience to research into these tokens first. And yes, let's say, start with the knowledge, start with the education, and the rest will fall into place.
Awesome. Learn, observe, trade. This is the logic. Now, I've been asking you about other coins. Why? So let's say a crypto enthusiast that doesn't know much about cryptos is looking to get started tomorrow. What would you suggest? Purchasing cryptos and holding them for the long run, or trading as CFDs, or both?
Well, depends. It depends of the level of your understanding, of your experience. If you are a newbie, my suggestion would be to follow the dollar cost average method. That means every week, let's say, or every month, you put your savings aside and you buy just a little bit of Bitcoin every month or every week, just a little bit, and you hold it. Very important is also to hold those Bitcoins in your own custody, meaning that you should get maybe a cryptocurrency, a hardware wallet, or even a piece of paper, let's say, that can serve as a cold wallet. And take all the necessary precautions when it comes to securing your digital assets. From then on, if you're a little bit more intermediate and you enjoy trading, maybe it would make sense to also trade CFDs, but again, you will need to look into the actual fees that the brokers are charging.
Very well point.
Yes, because sometimes the CFD brokers are much more expensive than traditional crypto exchanges. So it might make sense to trade on crypto exchanges, and actually you can also do it on margin. So if you want to do like margin trading, you can also do it on crypto exchanges. That being said, I must also tell you that it's very dangerous. The market is very volatile. So my advice is to take it easy in the beginning. Don't invest big amounts, never invest more than you can lose, and always start with education.
Very well said. I was asking you because there is a way to, if you're holding cryptocurrencies, you could eventually hedge them if you trade as CFDs, and that's why I was looking at it. Is there a downside if you do that? What are the downsides of, let's say, purchasing cryptos or trading them as CFDs? Give me 2 or 3 downsides if you can.
Well, I think that the downside when it comes to trading cryptocurrencies is always the custodial risk. I mean, I've learned the hard way. I used to have some Bitcoins in Mt. Gox, and then it closed, and I'm still waiting for some compensation for those Bitcoins.
Ouch.
Yes, and this is not only once that it had happened. So yes, I think that on one hand, it's good to be able to trade with regulated CFD brokers because of the protection that the regulation provides you. On the other hand, you need to take care of the spreads and the rollover costs and maybe some manipulation. As long as they're regulated, you are on the safe side, let's say, but not always. So there is always trade-offs. There is no magic solution.
Right.
But yes, I agree with you that CFD brokers, when it comes to hedging and using other trading strategies, it makes sense to use.
They might give you a good opportunity. Now, would you recommend a portfolio of coins or just one?
Well, it depends. I mean, if you're very conservative, you should, conservative in the crypto sphere is someone that's actually very risk, he likes the risk. But if you are talking about a portfolio allocation in the crypto industry, in the crypto sphere, I would suggest, my personal opinion always is to hold at least 75% in Bitcoin, and the rest can be altcoins. Yes. So right now, my own personal allocation is 75% in Bitcoin and 15% Ethereum, and I have another 10% allocated elsewhere.
Wow. Okay, that's a strategy. Right. Now let's move on. What should we expect from Bitcoin, the king, the heavyweight champion, in the next month or so? How likely is it to hit the 20,000 all-time high again?
I think it's very likely the way it's developing. It could be that we can see 20,000 even before the end of the year. However, we need to be very cautious, as I mentioned in the beginning,
Yes.
because whenever you have something that's rising so fast, eventually it will correct.
Yeah.
And people that are, trading in the crypto sphere, they need to have very strong stomachs. And I say that because it's very easy to see huge corrections in Bitcoin, maybe 30%, 40% within a week. However, historically, November has been a very good month for Bitcoin, historically. I would expect it to continue in the same fashion as it is going right now. Perhaps we can see 17K very soon.
Yeah.
However, we should always expect a correction, and this correction can be very steep. It can be like 30%. So maybe you see Bitcoin 17K tomorrow, and on Monday you'll see it back on trading at 14,000 or 13,000.
Yeah, because the people that bought the Bitcoin are now closing the positions or are cashing out, and that usually causes a bit of a meltdown on the market. So what would be your recommendation for beginner traders in terms of trading cryptos right now? Is it worth for a beginner trader to look into it, or they should just wait a bit for the markets to settle?
Well, it depends. I wouldn't, dive into education. I would find out why is this thing so hyped right now? Why is everyone talking about Bitcoin? Because there are very good reasons everybody's talking about Bitcoin right now. And from then on, I would tell him to take it easy when it comes to trading Bitcoin, because it's quite volatile. And if you don't know how Bitcoin behaves, maybe it's better to start off with some demo money in the beginning, see how it works. And once you feel more confident, then you can start investing.
And not only that, it's quite volatile, it's quite expensive as well. Let's remember that under the most recent MiFID II regulations, the leverage has dropped drastically in Bitcoin. We saw Australia a couple of weeks ago lining up with Europe, and they announced on cryptocurrencies the leverage is 1-to-2 or 1-to-1, which is like... So yeah, I'm with you.
There is always other exchanges that you can go and trade with leverage of up to 1-to-100. But again, I wouldn't really recommend that. It's very dangerous. And I would suggest, again, to focus more on education, learn what makes it tick, and from then on, start slowly. Not at these rates now. I wouldn't invest a lot of money. It has gone up too high too soon. I am expecting a correction.
Everyone
I'm always bullish on the long-term outcome of Bitcoin. But right now, I would, stay a little bit on the sidelines and see how it behaves.
That's exactly what Alex Katsaros was saying last week when I had him in the studio and we were talking about Bitcoin. He did mention, right, long-term, just like stocks, cryptos are designed to go up, at least Bitcoin and the established ones. But short-term is very, very difficult to predict. Now, I have one last question for you, George, because we're speaking for 40 minutes. We have 5 minutes left. Now, could cryptos be a good hedging strategy against conventional assets like gold, oil, and why not the conventional currency pairs, at least now for the time being?
I would say that yes, especially Bitcoin, because it encapsulates the notion of sound money. We need to go more into the mechanics of Bitcoin to explain this, but in a short description, we know that the monetary policy of Bitcoin is written in code, and that the Bitcoin inflation every 4 years, it goes through the halving. That being said, Bitcoin's inflation rate will go even below gold. So that means essentially that Bitcoin is more is harder as an asset even than gold. So having that said, yes, I believe that Bitcoin can be a good, let's say, addition in your portfolio, and it will go hand in hand with traditional safe assets like gold, like land. I'm not going to mention bonds right now because
bonds and yields and all that is complicated for especially.
It's very complicated, yes. So even if you take that into consideration, then I would say it even strengthens the hypothesis that Bitcoin is a very strong store of value and is sound money. Yes.
Right. Okay, I'm with you 100%. I'm looking forward. I keep saying for the last week or so, guys, we're going to see Bitcoin reaching 17. Guys, we might see Bitcoin reaching the all-time high, the $20,000 mark by December. We're very close. I'm very confident it's going to happen. The question is, where do we take it from there? Is it going to happen what happened 2 Decembers ago? It will reach the all-time high and then boom?
Well, we're moving into uncharted territories right now. I mean, if you go back into the charts and see what are the levels, I mean, there's like 2 or 3 levels, and then you have all-time highs, and then it's completely uncharted territory.
No one knows what's going to happen.
No one knows what's going to happen. I'm just happy to see Bitcoin go higher. I'm not going to sell. I'm never going to sell, most likely. I expect it to, I expect to use my Bitcoins in the future as currency. So when people were asking me, what are you gonna do now that Bitcoin is at 3,500 when the Corona crisis started and you had the dump in all the major assets?
Buy more
because everybody was fleeing to the US dollar. I was just buying Bitcoin. Now people thought that I was crazy, and I was like, just wait and see. This is just another day in the crypto sphere. You will have corrections of 30 and 40%. Happening very fast, and that's when you need to wait on the sideline, and when it dumps, then you just buy the dip.
You applied the Warren Buffett strategy.
Years on Bitcoin, at least.
You applied the Warren Buffett strategy. That's how Warren Buffett supposedly made his fortune, because he was buying when there was blood on the streets.
Yes, but smart guy, Warren.
Yes, but again, he had a deep understanding, just like yourself, just like myself, and many other traders about crypto markets and cryptocurrencies and so on. Not everyone is as fortunate as we are, to understand how it truly works. And some people take risks.
I think the point, Andrew, all comes down to knowledge. If you have the knowledge in front of you and you know how things are going to play out, even if you see the markets bleeding, you know that this is just temporarily, and that Bitcoin is going to continue growing just because of its nature. So yes, I would say that the most important thing for people in order to grow their portfolio is knowledge and, of course, information. We need to gather the information from the market and be able to capitalize on it.
And a wee bit of money, because Bitcoin is becoming very, very expensive. Right. George, thank you so much for being with us today on this Friday 13, this historical Friday 13, when we could have seen Bitcoin trading at $17,000 and getting closer to the $20,000 all-time high. George Agathangelou, thank you ever so much, man. I'll talk to you hopefully next week. If Bitcoin reaches $20,000, you're going to be the person I call first.
Okay.
Fair enough.
We can have the same chat again.
All right. Thank you so much for being with us today. Guys, we had George Agathangelou from Nicosia, Cyprus, board member at Cyprus Crypto Association. Great market insights, great market insights. But I promised you something. We're going to come back live in 30 seconds and have a look at the charts and the signals of the day. Stay tuned.
Discover how some of the top executives are trading their own companies with our Insider Trades tool. See who's been buying or selling stock and what their trades say about insider sentiment. Use this unique big data tool to make more informed stock trades. That's higher trading from MarketsX.
All right, guys, and we're back with the charts of the day. We are already half an hour, 35 minutes into the US Open. We're looking at crude oil futures, guys, which did not move much today. You can see the candlesticks formation there. Crude oil currently trading at $40.40, somewhere in between the 50 and the 200 moving average, waiting for something to happen. Looking at the bottom of the chart, RSI, stochastic, somewhere in between. A lot of uncertainty on the markets, a lot of uncertainty. Crude oil gave back a few cents today, gave back a few, about $1, if I'm not mistaken, but the markets seem to be taking a break today without anything big going on the other side of the world. We're moving on to Euro US dollar, guys, currently trading at 118.23 on a 60-minute chart, well supported by the 50 and the 200 moving average. RSI, stochastic, just turned around, pointing upwards. There is a bit of buying power on the markets. There is a bit of hope for the European currencies to push higher versus the US dollar, at least for today. The cable, guys, the pound. We see the pound testing the 50 moving average. Is currently trading at 131.58. For the last 5 hours, the pound started dropping. Slow and steady, slow and steady. RSI, stochastic, turning around from the overbought levels, pointing downwards. There is a lot of pressure on the pound, especially this week, guys. Brexit negotiations with the European Union were extended again for the, 10th time. That's a lot of pressure on the pound, as well as the COVID-19 cases increasing in Europe. Now, USD JPY, guys, on a 60-minute chart, 104.80, half an hour into the US markets open. RSI, stochastic, in the oversold levels, apparently pointing upwards. The dollar is currently trading, is looking to push through the 200 moving average. Will it do that today? If that's the case, and they will settle higher, probably on Monday, we're going to have the USD JPY pair trading higher at 105, somewhere there where the 50 moving average is. Let's see what happened with the Aussie dollar today, guys. Again, very, very little movement. Good rally for the Aussie dollar in the last couple of trading sessions, but last night and today, it gave back most of its gains. Currently trading at 0.7251 versus the US dollar. RSI, stochastic, still pointing upwards. There's still a bit of positivity on the market. USD CAD, guys, we can see the US dollar very, very undecided. Now, we see a gold cross that was formed by the 50 and the 200 moving average. Yeah, we can see a bit of a push. What most traders are waiting to happen right now, probably, they're aiming for this correction. Yeah, they're aiming for the price to go back towards the 132, 132.50, 133, where the price was before, quite a few weeks ago. But as the situation stands right now, the US dollar is heading towards the 50 and the 200 moving average to the downside, yeah, towards the 131.12 or the 131 flat. 33 points from the current market price to the resistance levels created by the 50 and the 200 MA. There is a bit of a breathing space there. Let's have a look at the S&P 500 and the Dow Jones, guys, which were expected to open largely higher today, and they did. Look at the last couple of candlesticks. Positive opening for the S&P 500, positive opening for the Dow Jones. The question remains, though, will they push higher? Will they manage to go back up where they were before? Is it time to buy the dip? Looking at the Dow Jones Industrial Average, guys, we see a big, big gap which still hasn't been filled. The question is, when is that gonna fill? When will the market come back down and fill the gap? Will it happen soon? Will it happen next week? No one knows yet. US dollar index currently trading at 92.77, trading below the 200 moving average on a 1-hour chart. RSI, stochastic, pointing downwards, very close to the oversold levels. If the US dollar index continues like this today, we're probably going to see the first take profit on the short positions around the 92.60 level. 92.60, currently trading at 92.77, about 17 points from the current market price to the first potential take profit. Very interesting what's going to happen. Gold futures, guys. Finally, gold is pushing higher. I was very disappointed by this huge drop, $60 loss on gold futures a few days ago. But gold is trying to recover on the back of a weak dollar. A couple of trading sessions ago, we saw gold well supported by the 50 moving average. Very good push for gold today. Gold was probably one of the very few instruments, assets that managed to actually move today. Gold overall gained about $15-17 from this morning. It's currently settling above the 200 moving average. We're looking at the candlesticks formation, settling up there. RSI stochastic in the overbought levels. Let's see if they're going to turn around later on or on Monday. Brent oil futures, guys, just like crude oil, very, very undecided. They traded sideways, 43.03 for Brent oil futures as things stand right now. Right, somewhere in between the 50 and the 200 moving average. RSI stochastic are trading at their lows right now, apparently moving higher, but by the looks of things, we're probably going to see this movement happening on Monday or Tuesday next week. Now, silver futures, guys. Again, good rally for silver futures, just like gold today. Currently trading at $24.77. RSI stochastic turned around. We're going to see a bit of a correction, judging by these indicators. Okay, probably the price will come back down to test the 200 moving average at 24.44 or somewhere in that region. And where do we take it from there? Where do we take it from there is the question. And the all-time champion, Bitcoin, guys, is currently giving back some gains. Very, very shy Bitcoin today. Currently trading at $16,101. Very, very close to the 50 moving average, which is at 16,027. The question is, will Bitcoin bounce again from this 50 moving average, or is it going to go a bit lower? Who knows? Maybe it's going to go lower and test the 200 moving average at $15,384. I'd say, based on the conversation I had with George Agathangelou a minute ago and with Alex Katsaros last week, and looking at the charts and the news, I'd say it's unlikely for Bitcoin to go all the way down to the 15,000 mark. But in the same time, cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, is the only asset class, the only asset that has the capacity of jumping $1,000 within half an hour. So the overall trend, if we look at it on a bigger time frame, on a higher time frame, on a daily chart, let's say, the overall trend remains an uptrend. For short-term trading, a tiny correction is expected. A tiny correction is expected, guys. How long will that correction last for? I don't know. No one knows, but we're going to see that together. Ethereum, still trading quite high at $461.67. Again, just like Bitcoin is targeting the 50 moving average. It's trading very, very close from the 50 moving average. Only $2 above the 50 MA. The 200 MA stands at $440 as things stand right now. The moving averages are well apart, and that usually indicates great potential, great buying power on Ethereum. Let's see what's going to happen, guys. This is what is going on from my side. Let's have a quick look at some trading signals for one more minute, and then I'll let you go so you can enjoy this beautiful Friday 13 and the weekend. Euro USD, strong buy positions on all four time frames, 45 minutes into the US Open. The pound remains neutral. No one knows what's going to happen with the pound, not even the analysts at investing.com. USD JPY, strong sell on 3 time frames. Moving down. We're looking at Euro GBP, strong buy on 3 time frames. USD CAD remains a strong buy, even if it's only on a 5-minute and a 15-minute chart. And moving towards the bottom of the chart, we're looking at GBP JPY, strong sell on 3 time frames. The daily still remains a buy. And GBP CHF, strong sell on 2 time frames. The daily still remains a buy. Remember what I'm telling you guys every time I have the chance. When you get signals like this, when the daily remains a buy and the short-term ones, 5 minutes, 15 minutes, and hourly are a sell, that might only mean a correction. Yeah, so the price is coming down for an hour or 2 or 3 based on something. And from there on, if the daily still remains a strong buy, we might see it pushing higher. So if you're planning to enter a position, wait for that pullback to happen, guys. It's very, very important to avoid a drawdown on your trading account. And that drawdown can make the difference between a winning trade and wiping out your trading account. Gold and silver futures, guys, not a clear indication on a 5-minute chart. We're looking at strong buy on silver on 15 minutes hourly and daily. And the mixed signals on gold, 5-minute sell, 15-minute strong buy, hourly strong buy, and the daily remains a strong sell as well. Meanwhile, copper futures are doing outstanding, guys. Strong buy on all 4 time frames for copper. Very clear indication. Let's hope the market stick to that direction. Crude oil, WTI, and Brent oil, strong sell on 3 time frames. The daily remains a strong buy. And natural gas, buy and strong buy on all 4 time frames. And this is it, guys. This is it. A lot of uncertainty on the markets. A lot of uncertainty as things stand right now. Right, guys, it's been a long week. It's been an amazing week. It's been a beautiful week, but the weekend ahead of us is even more beautiful. Join me again on Monday morning, 10 o'clock GMT plus 2, and let's see how the markets open at the European trading session. Until then, remember to trade responsibly and may all your trades be in the money. Have a nice weekend, guys.